When everyone looks at the history of the Dallas Cowboys, not only has this franchise consisted of some of the greatest players in NFL history but also some of the greatest coaches. Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson are both in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for helping bring 4 world championships to this team between the two of them. What gets lost in the history of those great teams are the rest of the coaching staffs. Like with their head coaches, the Cowboys do not change coordinators very much. As far as defensive coordinators, the list of how many is shorter than most might know. However, these names are familiar with true fans who saw them help bring Super Bowl wins to Dallas. These are the 5 best in franchise history. Criteria for selection. Success is what matters the most when deciding who makes this list. Defensive rankings at the end of the season play a heavy influence. What also matters is how quickly they can turn the defense around. However, Super Bowl wins also play a big role. Longevity is also under consideration even if championships did not dominate the coach's time in Dallas. The top 5 defensive coordinators in Dallas Cowboys history. 5. Dan Quinn. When Mike McCarthy's first season went as bad as it did, he needed some help. Dan Quinn was hired as the team's defensive coordinator in 2021 and the move immediately paid off. The Cowboys had good young players to build the defense around, but Quinn's touch from his years of experience helped turn this team back into winners. Quinn built the Legion of Boom in Seattle behind stars like Richard Sherman and Earl Thomas. When he came to Dallas, he built it the same way. Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs became the pillars combined with veterans like Malik Hooker and Jaron Kearse. In his first season, the Cowboys' defense ranked 7th in the NFL, turning the franchise back into a legitimate contender. While the breakup was hard to stomach during the offseason, Quinn deserves to crack this list, even for just a 3-year run. 4. Rod Marinelli. Like with Dan Quinn, the Cowboys went looking for a defensive coordinator with championship experience several years earlier. Marinelli was the defensive line coach for the Buccaneers during their championship run in 2002 and quickly rose up the coaching ranks. After tough stretches in Detroit and Chicago, he found success again in Dallas. After the 2013 season, Marinelli took over for Monty Kiffin and a defense that ranked as one of the worst in the league. Despite losing talent like DeMarcus Ware and Jason Hatcher, Marinelli's defense finished 2014 ranked 15th in the NFL and helped the Cowboys get back into contention. Marinelli remained in Dallas for the next 5 seasons. During that stretch, Dallas defense finished ranked in the top 15 3 times and in the top 10 twice. The Cowboys have not had much postseason success in the modern era, but for Marinelli's longevity and helping Dallas win 2 playoff games between 2014 and 2018, he deserves to be recognized on this list. 3. Butch Davis. Butch Davis was part of the University of Miami Hall of Coaches Jimmy Johnson brought with him. Davis served as the team's defensive line coach from 1989 to 1992 when the Cowboys were rebuilding. Thanks to players like Russell Maryland, Leon Lett and Charles Haley, Davis was an easy decision by Jimmy to be promoted to defensive coordinator in 1993. Taking over a Super Bowl championship defense in the first year as a coordinator can be tough, but Davis proved he was up for the challenge. The Cowboys finished with the second-best defense in the NFL in 1993 on their way to a second straight championship. While Davis might have faded a bit in the background behind Johnson, he deserves credit for keeping that defense playing at a high level. The next season Johnson might have been replaced by Barry Switzer, but Butch kept the defense firing on all cylinders. The unit finished ranked 2nd in the league again, with Haley registering 12.5 sacks and the team grabbing 22 interceptions. Sadly, Davis was done after this season, heading to the University of Miami to take over as head coach. For earning 2 Super Bowl rings and coaching the best defense in the league both of his seasons as coordinator, Davis deserves to be in the top 3. 2. Dave Wannstedt. Long before Dave Wannstedt appeared on Fox Talking Football, he was in Dallas trying to help Johnson build what they had built at the University of Miami. Wannstedt served as the Cowboys' defensive coordinator from 1989 to 1992. After 1-15 in year 1, Wannstedt's defense improved every year leading up to Dallas winning it all in 1992. In 1990 and 1991 his defense finished 15th and 17th in the league as the group was starting to come together. After moving on to a new era on defense with players like Jack Del Rio and James Washington leading the charge, Dallas became winners again. The team went 11-5 in 1991 and won a wild card game against the Bears, setting the stage for Wannstedt's best unit in 1992. While the arrival of Haley certainly helped, every player bought in. The defense finished ranked 5th in the league despite no Pro Bowlers being named. Wannstedt's success helped him land head coaching jobs in Chicago, Miami, and the University of Pittsburgh. For being responsible for the formation of a defense that helped establish a dynasty to having success after he left Dallas, Wannstedt is deserving of the number 2 spot. 1. Ernie Stautner. A good number of fans might not know who this is. Landry was the head coach in Dallas for 29 years, and for 23 of them, Ernie Stautner was on his staff. He arrived in Dallas in 1966 and served as the team's defensive line coach his first 8 seasons. After the team started having success in the early 1970s, Stautner was named defensive coordinator in 1973. The rest is history, as the Cowboys' defense became known throughout the 1970s as the Doomsday Defense. During his tenure, Stautner coached greats like Randy White and Ed Too Tall Jones. The defense was arguably the best in the NFL at that time, second only to the Steel Curtain. Stautner's defense helped carry the team to 4 Super Bowl appearances, with a championship coming in 1977. For the longevity and success, as well as helping create one of the best defenses of all time, there is no question Stautner deserves to be at the top of this list.